horses. Today we're with Triunfo. So Triunfo has a bit of a story going on. He came into my life, oh gosh, about 15 years ago, more, when my kid's dad decided he wanted to ride and he was going to get a horse. So we got Triunfo. And his background, he was typical Spanish broke, as you can see from the scars on his nose. Well, typical Spanish, they're not all like that, but in some places it can be a bit brutal, although things have improved greatly since Triunfo was a young horse. Anyway, years went by. Triunfo has so many amazing experiences with students. The things he's taught people, it's amazing, but maybe that needs a whole video to itself. Triunfo's speciality of teaching people how to react if your horse takes off and how not to panic, because it's not something you can learn in theory. It's a bit of muscle memory. You have to practice it, and it's a quite tricky thing to be able to practice safely. So Triunfo was the absolute expert of that, and there are some stories around that which like I say, need their own videos, because, you know, theory and learning is wonderful, but without the practice, it doesn't really mean so much. Anyway, fast forward to 2016. I was having a big life change and business change from where I was living, and I needed to downsize the number of horses. So a friend of a friend had an old horse that needed a companion. So Triunfo at this point was 20, had a lot of stiffness in his joints, was quite lame, but not in so much pain that it was time to say goodbye. So this lady said she would take him. So he went into retirement. Now, that day I put him on the trailer. He walked straight on the trailer. And then, of course, I went out the front door and he gave me this look that haunted me until I got him back, actually. Every time I thought about it, it was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? What are you saying to me? It was just, I was probably also projecting my feelings and stuff onto it as well. But anyway, that was Triunfo's departure from my life. And he was very well cared for most of those years. And then suddenly, when I was leaving Scotland, probably about 3 weeks or maybe a month before, I got a phone call from that lady. And she said to me, do you remember when you gave me Triunfo? You said that if I ever couldn't keep him, I was to call you and that you would take him back. So she said, I'm calling you. She said, I've broken my hip and I can't manage with the horses anymore. So I thought, oh my God, now what? Here's me in Scotland with 3. But actually, in those 8 years between her taking him and then wanting to send him back, it was possibly the only moment that I could have done something about it, because for a lot of the rest of the time, it would have been really difficult. I mean, I would not have got him sent all the way over to Scotland on his own, poor old horse. So I said to her, well, luckily, I'm just in the process of moving back to Spain, other end of Spain, right enough, to the north. And funny enough, I had built 4 stables for my 3 horses, because the 4th stable was going to be my tack room and feed room. So Mr. Triunfo, of course, ended up with the 4th stable. I had to buy a container for the tack room and feed room and the transport from Malaga, and then we got him all vetted. And the vet, funny enough, said that she'd never seen a horse that age, because he's 28 now, never seen a horse that age so healthy. So his blood works came back absolutely perfect. So he had his feet done. He's been fattening up. He was very, very, very thin. Something funny had gone wrong in the latter part of his stay over there. So I don't really know what happened, but somebody lost the plot somewhere. There's little Bing on the other side over there, look. Well, he's not on the other side, it's the same paddock. So that is, for me, the joy of having Trump back, is that Bing now has a little friend, because he was with Morisco and Umo, and they did tend to sort of bully him a bit, and he did mostly be on his own. Of course, Muñeco was his best friend. Now, there's a pony to be remembered. He definitely needs a whole video story of his own. So he and Bing were all good friends. But then we couldn't take him to Scotland. He was 35, and we decided not to take him, and he actually died just like a month or something before we left. Very sad, but it was time. So Bing and Triumph reunited. So for anybody that had ever been at my place or knew them, it's so special to see them back together. They're such a team, you know. I used to always ride out on one and lead the other, and if they ever spooked or anything, they just move as one unit, like they were one thing, which obviously made that much easier to deal with on a spooky day. So Bing is very happy to have his friend back. The reunion was so emotional. Triunfo arrived here 2 days after us, so it was still all very new for us. We were still settling in, and oh, it was so beautiful to see them remembering each other. And oh yeah, oh, it was just one of those moments that really opens your heart. So beautiful. Triunfo now, what's he going to do at 28 years old? Well, maybe he can be a pony for the kids. There's a lot of lovely people come and visit this area and the village, and there's quite a few holiday lighthouses, and people pass by the gate and they want to see the horses and they want to do stuff. So I thought, well, maybe we can do a kind of like getting to know horses, introduction to horses kind of sessions with the kids, with Triumph. So I think even though he's retired, and amazingly unlame actually, because 8 years ago he was very lame, and now, when I see him galloping in from the field and trotting with his high knee action that he has, funny old horse, he's absolutely fit. But saying that, I would not start doing lessons or riding out. Maybe if one of his old friends visits, they can have a little sit on him. And of course, he was so skinny, the saddle wouldn't be right down on his withers anyway. He has put on quite a bit of weight. That's over 2 months. So I can see his belly through his rug now a little bit, which is lovely. You know, he was always such a fat horse, so I was a bit concerned at his age. It's very strange. Well, not at his age. For him, it's strange to lose so much weight. And at his age, is it going to be easy to get it back on again? Well, it's not been easy, but he is getting it back on. So there we go. He'll maybe do some work with children. And you know, for people that want to come and do like meditation with horses and breathing and presence work, and Triumph will be very good for all of that. So in the meantime, he and little Bing have got this glorious pasture here with all these lovely big old trees. They've got all the grass, because of course it's winter, there isn't such a huge amount of grass. And the two greedy boys over there, they've just about eaten all their grass, but yeah, they're on a bit of hay, which is fine for them. I'm just doing a once all around these funny, lovely old stone walls they have here, and the beautiful ash trees in their winter state. So anyway, that is a little bit of Triunfo's story, which we will be carrying on with over on Patreon, because we're doing a project on suppling exercises here, and of course a part of that is keeping old horses fit and a bit more, well, maybe not so much fit, just supple. Let's go for the word we're on about. And a bit more of his life story I would also love to share. Some of his funny little quirks, and I'm actually holding off on that right now because I want some of the people whose lives he affected so deeply to come on and tell their stories in their own words. So that will be coming along. So thank you very much for joining us today. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I might just spend some time out here in the pasture, sitting under a tree with the horses. It's just so easy to pause and be meditative when it's so gorgeous. And of course, if you sit with a horse, who wouldn't want to just sit there all day? See you next time.